Good morning, everyone. It's a Monday morning. We're going to take a look at severe weather. This is Monday, the 5th of May, 2025. And the first thing we're looking at here is the high resolution model of simulated radar over the next 42 hours. And we're seeing a pretty common theme, really. We have two areas here that we're watching. This here is an upper level system that is slowly moving, and the surface low is just kind of meandering around. So that's an area of sort of a regenerative set of showers and thunderstorms over the next 2 days. And then we have the Texas activity here, which we'll detail here in a minute. And then this becomes a weather system that actually affects Louisiana, and that's actually more of a heavy rain producer along with severe weather. But the focus of this particular video is on severe thunderstorms, hail, strong winds, and tornadoes. Let's take a look at the severe weather outlook for today. Across the country, there are really two primary areas. There's this area out here that I was showing you on the radar that encompasses portions of Ohio, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh is included in that, Cleveland just barely, and then it goes down and extends into parts of Virginia and that area, stopping just short of Washington, D.C. in that area, but they're in the 1 out of 5 risk area, whereas that yellow is the 2 out of 5 or the slight risk. Then the main activity down here in Texas has been pretty pronounced, and yesterday it was in New Mexico. Today it shifted east just a little bit, and then we have this small area of a low risk, a marginal risk up in the Dakotas. Let's take a closer look at that Texas activity here. So this is a 3 out of 5 enhanced risk of severe storms. Midland is included in that, almost up to Lubbock. They're in the slight risk, yellow. And so this entire area here is dominated by unstable air, weak jet stream winds, but enough out there along with topographical influences to be mindful of severe storms. Big hail is always a thing this time of year in West Texas for sure. There is also a tornado forecast for that exact same area. They're registering on the 5%. That means 5% chance of a tornado within 25 miles. That same area I just outlined as the enhanced risk area. And then we have a 2% risk area that does include Lubbock. And this one does extend into the nighttime hours to slide kind of east-southeast toward Austin and San Antonio. And then, in case you didn't notice, there is a slight risk of a tornado with some of the thunderstorms that will occur in eastern Florida. Orlando is included in that, as long as most of the eastern portion of Florida, except for the very northeastern portion, has that risk. If we take a look at Tuesdays, this is tomorrow, and if you've been watching this, you'll know this is a slow grind, that this weather system has been moving ever so slowly. So now tomorrow it's centered more in East Texas. So Dallas and Austin and Houston, Tyler, Texas are all included in that slight risk of severe thunderstorms on Tuesday, 2 out of 5 risk for that. And then this very, again, persistent pattern that has kind of a marginal risk of severe weather, although possible, in parts of Pennsylvania and New York tomorrow. So if we go ahead to Wednesday, actually the severe weather situation is shifting east ever so slowly, and so now it goes from East Texas into Louisiana, and as I mentioned earlier, there's also a heavier rain risk in that area as well. That is the SIP's severe weather probability model. If we look at Colorado State's machine learning probability model, it does have a risk of hail that extends northward a little bit. That's because that thunderstorm area has a pretty long arm, and in parts of Arkansas and Louisiana, there's a hail risk. This is the tornado forecast right here. It's not really emphasizing a whole lot, except for a slight risk down there around New Orleans and in southern portions of Mississippi. Then if we take a look at Thursday, the SIP's model still has it centered in Louisiana. Boy, it's painful. This thing has moved from here to here from Sunday to Thursday. So it's just kind of inching along. And also, not surprisingly, the CSU guided probabilities are about the same, extending maybe into Florida. Now, for as far as Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I looked at all these guidance tools. There really isn't much going on. Very, very small areas. So I just decided to leave it out. But I think that's actually good. Severe weather is kind of waning a little bit as we get toward Friday and this upcoming weekend. This is the NIU supercell finder, if you will. It looks at the climate models and some of the long-range models and tries to make an assessment as to where supercell thunderstorms will develop. So this one is May 5th through the 11th, pretty much covered this period I just talked about. So not surprisingly, we're along and hugging the Gulf Coast, Florida, Texas. Those areas have a pretty good probability of seeing a supercell. Then we go into the following week. This is May 12th through the 18th. Things are ramping up over the high plains and the central plains, even as far north as Montana, and I'll show you why in a minute. And then the last part of May, again, we're looking at dry line activity, high plains activity, May 19th through the 25th. Pretty good high probability of supercells. I'm going to show you these ensembles. There's two. There's the EPS, the European version of an ensemble forecast, which is really just the mean of a lot of different runs using the same data but tweaking it a little bit. So if you're looking for severe weather in the central plains especially, you're looking for trough activity. In other words, where these black lines dip southward like this. Now, the EPS is not as jacked about this. In fact, these colors here are anomalies. So that means if it's yellow, it means the heights are actually a little bit higher than they should be for this time of year. So that's a good way to find heat waves, by the way. So the Northeast, by the way, will probably be pretty warm around May 17th. Now, this is the EPS, and I will say that the European model usually outperforms the GFS. So this is, I'll tell you about that in a minute. I forgot I put this in here. So this is the mean CAPE. This is an instability parameter. So there has been enough time leading up to this for unstable air, especially driven by increased moisture from the Gulf, to make this a reality here. So if you combine that with troughiness out west, you can see why the supercell composites are up during this time period. May 17th, the GEFS actually has a much more pronounced trough out west, so it's digging in a little bit. You have some negative anomalies here, meaning these are below normal for what's considered this time of year. Still looking hot in the Northeast around May 17th. So this pattern right here, where you have winds out of the southwest, is a favorable Great Plains severe weather episode. And the last thing we'll look at is the instability, the mean CAPE from this particular model. This is looking a lot more juicy around May 17th. So this kind of pattern, I think, will kind of reinvent itself. This is for one day and still way out there. But the general pattern, the mean, that's why it's good to look at means this far out, because it kind of gives you a general idea. So basically this part of the country is going to be unstable, and it looks like we're going to have some sort of component of the winds out of the southwest. Both of those combined should increase the severe weather risk second half of May. Thanks for watching today's edition of Severe Thunderstorm Outlooks. This is published every day after the morning Storm Prediction Center update. Also, remember to check that site off on day one because they update it fairly frequently. If you like this video, please like it. Also, you can subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.